Woohoo. And blam! That's right. It's about time I started off the stream with one of those. What's going on, everybody? My name is Cory Dean, aka XM Red, here for Transatlantic Gaming, here with Bloodborne once again. Sorry for the delay again, everybody. Hey, I'm doing a lot better than I used to. It used to be a lot longer than that for delays for me, but I'm back here again. Yeah, I had a pretty crazy week with a bunch of weird, unexpected stuff going down. I won't get into it. I don't want to waste a bunch of time getting into stupid shit like that. But I will say that I can't exactly say for sure what the rest of the week looks like. I really, really hope that... monitor's a little too small. There we go. I can't really exactly say for sure what the rest of the week looks like, but I do want to point out that I haven't forgotten. I still have all the saved clips from the Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle beta. I've been transferring. Well, I transferred them all over to my PC. I've been editing them together to make the montage video of just the collection of clips. So, like I said before, instead of trying to stream them, I just decided I was just gonna save all the matches that I had with people that turned out to be good matches and good connections, and hopefully I think all of them are sets of 3. If they're not all sets of 3, it's because one match was lopsided, the rest of them turned out good or whatever, but it's a pretty nice sized collection. So one thing I can say is that I am going to be working on that tonight after I get done with this stream, and I will hopefully have that up by tomorrow at the latest, but I do plan to have that up very soon. As far as the next stream, though, I can't say for sure, but I will get into what I've got planned for the next few weeks very soon. What's up, Predator? How you doing, man? Because, like I said, I think I've mentioned this quite a few times, but I think this is the right time to do it. But there is a few caveats and catches. I would like to start streaming on Twitch, and I would like to do the Dark Souls remastered live stream on Twitch. And I think that for numerous reasons, that would be a great game for me to start on Twitch, mostly because of the fact that I think I've also mentioned this before. Good, man. Good stuff. I think I've mentioned this before, but as far as games that I've played enough to really know very well, there's not that many. There's the all of the Souls games, Bloodborne, everything except Demon Souls. I wouldn't say I know like super well, but Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Bloodborne, Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4, Final Fantasy 7, and Mario RPG. I know those games well enough to play them all the way through very easily and know pretty much all the secrets. I know the lore. I know the talking points and characters and discussions and all that fun stuff. Those have been my obsessions over the years. So those are the type of games that I could do a good, solid live stream on that would be up and running in a timely manner, and I'd be able to upload like I have been with Bloodborne, as far as nice, good, long sessions that get a lot of plot points accomplished, move the game along with the story, and so Dark Souls 1 I've finished 3 times, I think. Well, kind of more like 2.5, I guess, because I did everything except for beat the last boss, but I did beat all the DLC on New Game Plus character that I had. But anyway, the point is, I finished that game a number of times, and in every playthrough I've done, I've gone and uncovered everything. I've beaten all the bosses. I didn't just give a surface playthrough. I searched and made sure that I got everything. Did that with Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, all the DLC, all the weapons, I mean everything that fit my character at least. Um, anyway, so that's one reason why I think that with Dark Souls Remastered, they haven't. Some people are a little disappointed by this. I don't really necessarily find it a good thing. I'm kind of indifferent to it. It's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but I think the fact that Dark Souls, the same argument that people are using as a to kind of knock Dark Souls Remastered is the same argument I'm kind of using as a defense of Dark Souls Remastered, which is that the game is like seven years old now, and you know, its fan base is very accustomed to it. And if you played it on PC, these visuals aren't even going to look that spectacular, because the patch that was released for PC, DS Fix, which essentially was a mod that made the PC version of Dark Souls run the way it should have run in the first place. But the point is that if you play it on PC, you're not really going to be seeing much new here. None of the item locations have changed from what they've said. They've fixed some of the glitches, but actually a lot of the old glitches are still there. And to be honest, it's more or less just you know, exactly like the name implies, a remaster. It's the same game. They haven't changed anything. Now, I kind of find it interesting that with Dark Souls, that's almost like a bad thing to the community, because of how, I guess, how devoted Dark Souls fans are to the challenge of constantly finding new things, being faced with new challenges, and things like that. And the idea that they're just releasing the same game with a new coat of paint, and that's it, and not even really fixing everything. Kind of bad. But on the flip side to that, once again, the same argument. It's a 7-year-old game. A lot of people have never even played Dark Souls 1. A lot of people played Dark Souls 1 on PS3 or Xbox 360, and a lot of people that played it on PC probably never finished it on PC. They might have got frustrated and traded it in, or whatever might have happened. The point is that there's a ton of people out there that never finished Dark Souls 1. I personally actually owned Dark Souls 1 first, but I beat Dark Souls 2 first, and then went back and finished Dark Souls 1 after that, because I was so obsessed with the plot and the setting and the story and just the general concepts of it after playing the second one, that I had to play the first one. And after finishing that one, it quickly became one of my, at the very least, top 5 favorite games of all time. But the thing is that a lot of people never had that experience. And to keep it as close to that as possible lets the people that didn't get to experience that, especially people who maybe they never even touched it. Maybe they started with Dark Souls 3. Maybe they started with 2. They never played 1. Who knows? But I think that that's a good thing and a bad thing. Like I said, I'm a little indifferent to it. But for me, the biggest thing is that it's a Dark Souls game, and it's another excuse for me to play it again. And to be honest, I love the first one again. It's hard for me to say which one is my favorite. I would say ultimately it's a toss-up between 1 and 3. I do have the sort of the same opinion that 2 was kind of the weaker entry, but I'm nowhere near the same sort of level of some people that call it a terrible entry in the series or a misstep or anything. I think it was just it was a growing process. They were trying new things, and to be honest, a lot of things they tried worked out very well. The idea of the weight system not having multiple tiers, but having one percentage level where you're either more or less overburdened or you're within your weight limit, that stuck around. You didn't have the fastest roll, a medium roll, a slow roll, and then a absolutely just, slob, slowish roll. There was either you were at 70% of your full weight capacity and you rolled normally, or you were higher than that and you rolled slowly and clunkily. I don't even know if clunkily is a word, but clunky. But anyway, that system stuck around for Dark Souls 3, and I personally thought that was a much better idea. the dual wielding system that was implemented in 2, while it was definitely not perfect, and I do like the dual wielding in Dark Souls 3 better, especially since there are weapons that were geared towards, I mean, there's weapons that come in a pair, so, you know, they are a set, so you're supposed to use both of them. The idea of that in the second game was really when the idea of dual wielding became a thing. In the first game, you could technically dual wield, but it wasn't at all, like, a very viable option for the most part. Like, it could be done, but for the most part, you wanted a weapon in one hand and something else in the other, either a catalyst or, you know, something to cast spells, a shield, whatever it might be. You might two-hand your weapon, whatever it might be. Oh, shit. Whoops. Oh, shit. Screwed that up. Made too much noise. By the way, the reason I'm here is I forgot all about an NPC. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing, MLA? So anyway, bottom line, yeah, Dark Souls 2 did a lot of things wrong, but it also introduced a lot of concepts that they just needed to be tweaked and perfected, and I think Dark Souls 3 did an excellent job at kind of refining those systems that needed a little bit of work, which is why I kind of say that Dark Souls 2 is not a terrible game by any means, and the story, in my opinion, is actually really good. It's something that I can understand from a Western standpoint. A lot of people are kind of dissatisfied with the idea, but in Eastern philosophy and culture and storytelling, the idea of sort of cyclical, what do you call it? Like the idea of death and rebirth, and the world working in a cyclical manner is kind of a common concept, and it's one that is, in my opinion, I thought it was really cool how they implemented it into, although it of course begged the question at the end of 2, like, well then, you know, you introduce the, it was kind of like Dark Souls 1 is the Genesis story, you know, to some extent. Dark Souls 2 is the, what do you call it, the introduction to the effects of, the long-term effects of the genesis of this world. And part 3 is about breaking that cycle. Why and how it can be done. And I thought that was a really interesting... Ah, shit. Come on, I can get this. No. I am not going down there with that stupid thing. Oh, maybe I can do it from here. Yeah, this should work. Yeah. Right. Okay. I just wasted 2 Molotovs, but I don't know. I'm not even going that way yet. I will be going that way pretty soon. I might just go straight through there. So anyway, back to Dark Souls Remastered. So even with all these things, even with all these opinions, Dark Souls 1 still may be my favorite game in the series, because that Genesis story is just so well done. The way that the world is introduced to you, the way that real quick, I'll get back on Dark Souls in just a second, but I want to point this out. You notice what's going on now. This is my first time in Cathedral Ward since after beating Vicar Amelia, and you see that it's starting to get dark out now. The transition is starting to become much more apparent. You can see the sun is pretty much all the way down now. The moon is out. The night sky is out. And the environment has totally changed. The giants aren't walking. Some of them are missing. There's characters that have changed places. You know, they aren't walking up and down the steps. this happens throughout the game quite a bit. The scenery does change as the time of day changes, and I thought that was it was something, to be honest, that when I first played through this game, I didn't really even notice exactly everything. I mean, I noticed that, what the hell, why are these, you know, big guys not moving anymore? But I didn't notice all of the changes, obviously, the first time I played through it. And I didn't really recognize that it was tied to the advancing of the Night of the Hunt, as it grows, later, and the night starts getting darker. You notice it's like the beasts start to get more sway over. Oh, no, get out of there. Ugh. Fuck this, I'm gonna kill you the old-fashioned way. Getting close to you again. God, that flame sprayer. I gotta remember to wear flame-resistant armor when I go there. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Again, you weren't here. Sorry, I've been missing in action. It's been a shitty-ass week. And I told myself, I'm doing this today. I'm freaking playing today because, now that I got that out of the way, to get back to Dark Souls. Once again, it's a game that I definitely want to do. It's a game that would be a lot like this one, too, with the way that the advancement is progressed. Whoa, shit! Even that wasn't far enough? Damn. It would be, like, sort of like... Oh, man. Fuck this. Oh, jeez. I'm getting counter hit like a motherfucker. There, use a heavy attack. Jeez, I've been... Well, it's been a while. Let me wake back up. Get back into this shit. Because, you know, like I said, with those, the games that I just mentioned not too long ago, those are the games that I could play through competently, quickly, and pretty much show everyone the, if not the entire experience, damn near the entire experience in a relatively quick fashion. Give my opinions on the story and the plot, and some of the other things involving characters and theories, that sort of thing. Now, this is something I forgot. This is the NPC that I forgot. After you talk to the prostitute from this house, there is another guy who will talk to you, but this guy's very weird. Well, very weird by comparison to what the rest of the people we've met so far. But hang on just a second, you'll see what I mean.
Enough of you. What, you think this is funny? Well, I certainly don't, so be gone with you. I'll have nothing to do with your big stunts. What's this two-bit nonsense you're peddling? I heard you told that wench about some shelter. Well, she's a damn fool to trust an outsider. All right. Well, her sort's probably just fixed in to feed some of your boys.
Now, as you know, that's not true, but this guy is very, very cynical.
All right. What crafty lies does the outsider have today? You think I'm an easy mark? Yeah? Well, give me your best shot.
Okay, now, this is the only guy in the game that will react this way. He doesn't trust you in the slightest. I found this out the hard way the first time I played this game. But he is going to take the opposite advice of which one you give him. So if you tell him to go to Udin Chapel, he goes to Yosefka's clinic. If you tell him of Yosefka's clinic, he goes to the Udin Chapel. So I'm going to tell him to go to Yosefka's clinic.
Yeah, sorry. Too sharp for that bollocks. I know a superstition when I hear one. Sorry. Even their lies are predictable.
So I used his own cynicism and dick attitude to basically just save his ass in this one. But anyway, so yeah, maybe not the weirdest guy in the game, obviously, but most certainly one that kind of reminds me of the old lady at first. But when you go back to the cathedral after this guy shows up, you'll see sort of different attitude from that guy. Or from the old lady, excuse me. Oh, whoops. I changed all my emotes around so that I wouldn't be sitting down every time I accidentally did the one that I always do, and just do a quick bow, and then I can get out of it a lot faster. So anyway, you know what? How many? Oh, I'm still fine. I got plenty of stuff left. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next area because I killed the brain sucker. Now, about these giants, even though they are not walking around, they still most definitely are not completely 100% docile. Obviously, if you attack them, they're gonna come after you because they are still very well aware of, well, they are very much still alive and conscious to whatever extent they were before. But getting too close and drawing too much attention is not a good idea. So, I'm doing all right, man. Hanging in there. Not incredibly well, but I'm playing this game today, goddammit, so we're doing it. But yeah, thank you for asking. I'm all right. I'm not terrible. I just have had, man, just when it rains, it pours once again. You know, like I said before, it's just like one of those situations where everything always goes wrong all at once, and then, I mean, the sort of good news about that is that, you know, you could deal with everything all at once, but then at the same time, the bad news about that is you have to deal with everything all at once. So, anyway, before we, well, never mind, I'm gonna go here first, but, yeah, because here he is. Now, remember, I came here once before, and I thought he was gonna be here, but he wasn't, but he's here now. Alfred.
Oh, good to see you safe. Now, let's think up something to discuss. Just tell me what piques your interest.
So he'll still tell you about the Healing Church and about Byrgenwerth. It's the same dialogue he gave you the first time around, but this time there's a new one about the corrupted Vile Bloods. Now, this is basically this is basically the subject of Alfred's subplot in the game and his sort of quest arc. But so I'm going to ask him about the corrupted Vile Bloods.
There's something I want to tell you. A bit of wisdom from the eminent master Logarius. Once, a scholar betrayed his fellows at Byrgenwerth and brought forbidden blood back with him to Canehurst Castle. It was there that the first of the inhuman Vile Bloods was born. The Vile Bloods are fiendish creatures who threaten the purity of the Church's blood healing. The ruler of the Vile Bloods is still alive today. And so, to honor my master's wishes, I search for the path to Canehurst Castle.
So, yeah, this is the first time you're hearing about the name of the Vile Bloods and of Canehurst Castle. I might have mentioned that before. Now, a side area is Canehurst Castle. The way to it is from the woods, in Hemwick Charnel Lane, just before you get to the boss fight, that area where the dogs are. That is the entry point where you can get there.
As you know, the Healing
I'm just
Church
gonna kind of
is the
skip through
fountainhead
this
of blood healing. But
dialogue
if you
because
seek blood. Byrgenwerth is an old place of learning, and the two, well, this led to the, in this sense, but today, and further, it's unclear, but only they.
I wonder if
In
it's
his time,
Oh, yeah, there is
Master
more.
Logarius
Okay.
led his executioners into Canehurst Castle to cleanse it of the Vile Bloods. But all did not go well, and Master Logarius became a blessed anchor, guarding us from evil. Tragic, tragic times. That Master Logarius should be abandoned in the accursed domain of the Vile Bloods. I must free him, so that he may be properly honored in martyrdom.
Alright, one more time.
In his time, Master Logarius led his execution, but oh tragic, but I must.
Oops.
I bid you farewell. It has been a pleasure. May the good blood guide your way.
Okay. So, get the smoke. Hang on just a minute. Now, okay. So, as you hear, there is... Now, we've known this from sort of the start of the game, based on dialogue from multiple different characters, but some blood is corrupted, while some blood is used by the Healing Church in their blood administration to cure disease, and it's supposedly there to heal the people of Yharnam from all sorts of different illness. Yeah, I'm down, man. As soon as I get done, I hope I'm still... I should still be good to go, but yeah. So anyway, this type of forbidden blood, this type of blood was brought back to Canehurst and used in what was considered like blasphemy against the Healing Church. And a minor sect, which I talked about the major sects of Bloodborne. There's the Hunters, the Healing Church, and the Byrgenwerth Scholars. Those are the three main. Now there are subsects and sort of minor sects, and the Vile Bloods are kind of a minor sect because, for the most part, they're damn near extinct and mostly believed to be just in hiding at this point. And Canehurst Castle is basically hidden from sight, hidden from view, hidden from entry. And so nobody considers them much of a threat. But for someone like Alfred, who obviously idolized this guy, Master Logarius, the fact that he was willing to sacrifice everything for the church to protect Yharnam from the what he believed to be the evils of the Vile Bloods, is kind of what makes him sort of a hero to the Church Hunters. And still to this day, it seems like the grudge is still there. It's not forgotten. No one really knows exactly what's happened, but everything has been sort of calmed down. Now, we are obviously going to be able to explore some more of that plot, but the point is that it exists, and that this is the first time you hear about this conflict. And Alfred himself is, while he appears to be a pretty, helpful guy, he increasingly starts to expose this sort of obsessive side with vengeance against the Vile Bloods for their crimes against the Healing Church and against Church Hunters, in particular Master Logarius. So when we meet up with him again later, he will ask for our help in finding the Vile Bloods and Canehurst Castle. So anyway, but now we're going to go on to we're going to start moving along with the plot, and this is where things are going to get interesting. This is where the main plot line starts to take off. Ooh, I have a lot of blood echoes now, but I'm going to be getting to a lamp soon. Now, this is the pendant I got from Vicar Amelia in the last boss fight, just before the what's it called? The end of the last stream. And we saw the cutscene from a guy named Lawrence talking to Master Willem, Now I can tell you that is the discussion from Byrgenwerth College between what you would probably consider a very trusted student or pupil of Master Willem, this guy named Lawrence, and Master Willem telling him that he's betraying him. Lawrence doesn't think of it as a betrayal. He thinks of it as just wanting to explore research without the restrictions that Master Willem has placed upon the studies of Byrgenwerth. And it seems to revolve around, from the discussion, because of his insistence on Lawrence remembering the adage of Byrgenwerth, to fear the old blood, that Lawrence's interest lies in blood research somehow. We don't know exactly how that is yet, but at this point we do know that this guy who used to be a scholar there, Lawrence, left because of disagreements with the master of Byrgenwerth. These two characters are very key players in the events that led up to Bloodborne, the game. Yeah, I'm down to play something later on. I don't really know what I'm going to do. Like I said, where like MLA was mentioning, I was thinking about playing a fighter, but not too sure yet exactly what to do. Although I really do want to play some Dragon Ball FighterZ since the patch came out. I haven't played much. But there is also something else that I got to bring up to you guys and anybody else who's watching this around the time of the release. Right now is a free weekend for a couple games on PSN and on Steam. Well, at least one of them on both. One of them maybe only on PSN, I'm not sure. But right now, it's free-to-play weekend for first one, mostly single-player campaign game, which is Middle-earth Shadow of War, which got a lot of criticism for its absolutely shameless and terrible microtransaction system, which, to be honest, they have now backpedaled on since enough time has passed and they've made enough money from it. They are starting to phase out the necessity for microtransactions and the reliance on it in the late game, and have insisted that they are trying to rebalance the system, and that by this month they are I can't remember if they said they are closing the shop where you buy premium currency, or if hang on just a second, you can tell me the challenge in just a second. Just let me finish what I was getting at. So they are they're phasing out the premium currency. They're trying to balance the system to no longer require people to spend a ton of money on microtransactions to finish the final campaign of the game. And there's a DLC coming out, which I think that's the main reason behind all of this, is that they really want to sell the DLC, but they know that people are going to be hesitant to do that, since a lot of people didn't finish the game, since they basically had to pay to win by the time they got to the end section of the game, unless they wanted to grind for 8 to 10 hours to make enough, to get the resources necessary. The other game that's free to play this weekend, this one is the one that is much more important, Rainbow Six Siege. In my time away from fighting games, the game I played a lot was Rainbow Six Siege, and it quickly became my favorite competitive FPS. Although I played it only on PC, and I haven't played it on PS4 yet, but I am downloading it on PS4. So I'm open to playing it on either console, or either platform. But I will say that anyone who would be interested in playing some Rainbow Six Siege, I'm definitely down. It's probably, like I said, it's definitely my favorite competitive shooter. It may be my favorite competitive online shooter ever. I think back to Counter-Strike Source and Team Fortress 2. I was never huge on Overwatch. I do like it, but I was never huge on it. But other than that, like as far as team-based competitive shooters go, Call of Duty was never something I was great at or anything. But because of the idea of the role system in Rainbow Six Siege, it's kind of like how implementing sort of a system similar to MOBAs, where every player has a role and they have to perform that role above all else. They're not going to play a character who has really good ability with traps on defense and just go running around trying to roam and pick off everybody that is coming in to attack. Similarly, if you're a character that's fast and good with their ability is good with stealthy approaches, you're not gonna just hunker down and post up near the objective and try to protect it. You're going to be what's called a roamer, which is widening your search for attackers. And then on the attacking side, there's the exact same situation. There's characters with an amazingly huge different amount of weapons and different abilities, and it's very it's an awesome, really fun game, really well balanced. It does have a pretty steep learning curve when you first get into it, but all you got to really do is just nobody likes doing this, but playing the cooperative multiplayer mode, Terrorist Hunt, really gives you a sense of the game mechanics and how to play a specific set of characters. Find some characters that are a little bit on the easier side to use early on, and stick with those until you get the hang of the basics, and then start branching out to find what kind of characters you are best with. But once you start getting there, it's really worth the work that it takes to get there. So anyway, back to Bloodborne. Sorry for the long tangent. Just thought I'd throw that out there. If anybody is interested in playing Rainbow Six Siege, I've had a lot of fun with it on both platforms, and well, not on both platforms, on PC. I wouldn't mind playing it on PS4, or obviously not more on PC. So yeah, that would be another fun game to play. So yeah, let me read this. Let me read this item real quick now, because once again, this is kind of like the doll's tier, or the red jeweled brooch. This item can be used and turned into a gem. So the pendant of Vicar Amelia used to change into a blood gem, which fortifies weapons. This pendant, passed down among the vicars who head the healing church, is a reminder of the cautionary adage, words that will open the gates to Byrgenwerth. The adage that will open the gates of Byrgenwerth. So we're going to use that right now with this guy who we met before.
The password.
Fear the old blood. The words that Master Willem and Lawrence spoke to each other when they both parted ways. Now look at this shit. There's nobody here except a dead corpse, and it has obviously been dead for some time. It's a madman's knowledge. Yeah, it sounds good, man. I'm not going to be pushing it crazy today, although I do want to make it to a very specific point of opening the first shortcut in this area. I'll tell you, from here on out, the next 3 areas of the game are where this game's difficulty starts to finally really start ramping up quite a bit. And it's not just in the same ways it's been before. There is so this area we're about to get into is a fairly big area. It's not gigantic, but it's a fairly big area. It's dark. There's a lot of traps, and I mean a lot. It's the type of thing where the enemies themselves are not the only thing you're going to have to start worrying about now. The traps can either one-shot you or leave you in a very compromising position to where you will be killed very easily if you're not paying attention. The other thing is that while there are, in general, more enemies than before, more importantly, there's a lot of new enemies here that you have never seen before or anything like these enemies before. So you start running into them now. This area we're about to go into is fairly long. The next area after that is actually pretty short. Actually, it's very short. The area after that is sort of moderately, not really long, sort of mid-sized area, but is once again a very difficult area, and once again has a lot of new enemies and a lot of new concepts being introduced. So this is where the game's difficulty starts really picking up the pace, but it's also where the game's lore starts to get way more involved, and this is where my crazy theories are going to start coming out as well. So because even though I really want to present this game's lore from an unbiased standpoint and present you guys with just the facts, I also have theories of my own and other people's of the community that that I agree with, or that I've kind of expanded on myself and kind of come up with my own sort of expansion of it. But anyway, I'm going to start discussing those as we go too. Now, Forbidden Woods. We heard this name before. This is the woods that sort of guards the passage to Byrgenwerth. So we know we're getting close. We know we're on the path to Byrgenwerth now. This is an interesting forest, to say the least. Like I said, it's very there's a lot of traps, a lot of split paths, lots of dead ends, lots of what do you call it, like sort of positions that drop you in the middle of either a gank or a very tough enemy by surprise, and it's just yeah, it gets really rough. I've been here so many times, I know what to expect, but yeah. So let's get moving. About to get to the first lantern. The first lantern is right inside, so that part's not too big of a deal. But there is a couple enemies blocking the way. This is one of them, and that's the other one. Now I think it would be better. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. Oh, whoops! That was a bad idea. If I run this way, this guy will. Yeah, this should work. Put this guy up here. Actually, oh, that didn't work. There he is. There we go. Alright. Bust out the repeater pistol. Ooh, a twin bloodstone shard. Sweet. Oh, you bastard. Nothing's stopping me now. Go. Alright. Grab the. Oh, pebbles. Yay. That's right. Here. Oh, more twin bloodstone. I may be able to level up my tarnishers for more level. Yeah, I'm just gonna get this lantern and then come back and go explore that other way. Now, the way back that we came from, there is some other stuff up there, but it just leads to a dead end, so I'm gonna come back and get it. Yeah, go ahead and get this lantern. The important thing now is that I'm finally about to get a level up and have enough points in arcane to start using the bone, quickening bone. So this should be interesting. You guys see what these items are like. We're going to be getting some more very soon as well. Let's repair first. Now, level up. Do this upkeep as fast as I can. So,
Welcome. What is it? Very well. Let me.
okay, arcane, 15. Now, actually, oh, now I see that too. That's the other thing, is that that's another big thing. Look at the damage on the Tonitrus versus the threaded cane. Now, the 1 point bonus is just for electricity damage, so it's not going to boost my physical attack at all, because when you boost arcane damage, it only affects arcane elements. More importantly, once you hit level 15, a lot of 15 is not by no stretch the lowest requirement for a spell type item.
Well, good hunter. May you
There's a
find
lot of spells that are either 10, 12, 14, somewhere in there. One of the best, one of my favorite in the DLC actually, is 12. It's a type of projectile, which I'll show you at some point soon when I actually. I've decided that I am going to do a little bit of the DLC early to try and grab some of those weapons that I really wanted to get. That would be, I mean, it's going to kind of be rough, but if I can get them early on, it will make a huge difference. It will really make a big, big difference. Oh, you need 6 to get. Ooh. Eugh. And that's disappointing too. I could get the threaded cane up another level, but I really, or the rifle spear, I really just don't. Man, 125 though. Now hang on a second. Let's see this. See, the big difference maker is that 64 bolt damage. But once again, the downside to that is the resistance factor. If anyone is resistant to bolt, they add that that resistance on top of their physical resistance. So they have the resistances to the physical attack and the resistances to the bolt attack applied to it. So that damage could be decreased significantly if you're going up against an enemy that is not that you don't want to be using the lightning attribute against. Weapons that are purely physical, however. Now, this does have a blood attack, but that refers only to the shotgun aspect of the rifle spear. It doesn't affect, has no effect on the actual physical attacks you make with it, whether you're swinging it, stabbing with it, whatever. And that's why a weapon like the threaded cane, while it's on low damage, it's only physical damage and thrust damage when you use the heavy attack to thrust it forward. And those kinds of weapons generally, unless you know what kind of enemy you're facing, they're generally the safest bet. But I want to have one weapon that is a nice safe bet. It's not going to be the threaded cane, but this is going to be it for the time being. And then a weapon that also is the elemental or situational, like the Tonitrus. But for the time being, I don't really have many other options. Now, let's see. Oh, before I do that, there's one other thing I want to do, which was, I'm going to eat through blood bullets too fast now if I start using the bone and the repeating pistol. I'm just going to start eating through bullets way too fast. So I'm going to have to switch the repeating pistol out for the hunter pistol. In fact, to be fair, kind of trying to decide whether I should use the flame sprayer or the I want something with fire. You know what? I'm gonna give it a go. It's probably not gonna help too much, but there are areas in this game where just some fire on your weapon helps. So, oh, whoops. Never mind. Okay. The problem though is that I need to put the gems on these weapons now. This has the which is this? The HP regeneration. Now this is going on the pistol because it's not going to have good damage anyway. This is just a parry weapon specifically and entirely for the parry weapon. But this is going to be a problem because, well, how many regular blood gems do I have? Fortify weapon. There we go. 9. Wait a minute. This weapon doesn't have a slot at all. In all the time I've played this, I never knew that. Huh. And if you level it up, it won't gain an extra slot either. So yeah, man, that's interesting. Well, you know what? That'll give me a reason to occasionally get... I'm gonna be able to parry just fine with the Hunter pistol. The only question is, I was trying to figure out something that would work that would be able to do good damage. This is the best by far, but like I said, with the quickening bone, it's not gonna. Oh, son of a... There we go. Yeah, with the quickening bone, it's just I'm not gonna have the ammo to support unless I keep making blood bullets. But then that has the other drawback. Now, what happens if I fortify? You can't fortify the torch or the shield. That doesn't give it any extra damage whatsoever. And this has the highest damage by far. So, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and, for the time being, I'm gonna leave the gem there. I'm gonna switch out the flame sprayer, and you know, I'll put this in slot 1, put this in slot 2, and then that way, if I need to deal range damage at all, I can still do it, but it won't be as. Oh, now here's the other thing. I better do this now too, because there's a lot of, as I said, there's traps. There's also a lot of status effects in this area. So let's see. Gascoigne's. I think Gascoigne's is the best. As far 31 was the same as the Tomb Prospectors. What is this like with by comparison? What defense is better? 29 rapid, 23 rapid, beasthood, 26, 26, 8, and 14. Frenzy's not too much of an issue yet. There are a lot of guys with guns. I'm going to switch to the Tomb Prospector. Yeah, none of these are going to make any kind of difference whatsoever, and I want to get that extra poison resist. Alright, Yahar Ghul gloves. Let's see what we got here. This is going to be one of those situations in this one where it's not going to be a significant boost enough to justify losing more physical defense because I'm already down to, what am I at? 259. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I think this will probably end up doing pretty well, but let's just check. Oh, wait, no, that's way too low. Okay, what's the next? This is pretty good. This isn't bad. Doesn't have good thrust defense or blood defense by comparison. No. Thrust is good. Blood's not so great. I might have to go back to Gascoigne's armor here. How much am I losing? Oh, I'm losing a lot. No. Let's see. What's my blunt defense at? Okay, this would put everything in the 250s. I think that's what we'll do. Sorry, thinking out loud and probably annoying, but that's how I do. That's how I crunch my. You weren't here for the beginning of the video, man. I mentioned after today's stream, I've already got the videos on my PC. I've been kind of slowly putting them together, but it should be up by tomorrow. They have a pretty good collection of matches. So yeah, I'm planning to have that done by tonight and upload it, and so it should be live tomorrow. I really want to have that live ASAP, obviously, before the game comes out. There's still about a couple weeks before the game comes out, but by then we're also going to have Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. We're also going to be having soon also I'm going to probably be playing Dark Souls Remastered, so there's also that one. Seems like there's something else too that I'm forgetting, and I should remember, but for some reason it's just totally slipping my head. What's my poison defense at now? I really need the extra poison defense. My blunt's gonna go down, but we're just gonna have to deal with it, because there's not much else I can do at this point, unless there's better gauntlets I could put on, but I doubt it. These are really good. Yeah, that's not gonna help. Yeah, that's not gonna help. Okay, well, that's about as well-rounded as we'll get with the poison defense and with everything else. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle videos will be live in the next couple days. So, and I am really excited to get those up for you guys, because I had a lot of good matches with MLA, with David Wilson, and with a host of a bunch of random other people that I met online. Had some really great matches with them too. So, as well as some great experimentation with a group, with a crazy amount of characters. Ooh, I need to get this soon too, Ludwig's rifle. This was what I wanted to see. No, this is the only one. Look at that poison resist. This chest armor is probably I'd guess off the top of my head, if it's not the best, it's at least the second best in terms of the poison resistance in the game. Anything else I can get rid of here? Is that about it? Yeah, that's about it. Oh, I do need to buy a couple more Molotovs. There we go. I did get some, oh, let me do this now before I forget to leave my antidotes in, switch in. Oh, I forgot to put that in too. Got a new vial of blood from Adela. We'll put the knives next, then the Molotovs, and then, oh, no, then, oh, actually, you know what, yeah, because this will kind of scroll through fast enough. The Bone of Quickening, where is it? There it is. So let me read this to you. So it uses 4 bullets upon use. Said that he was an apprentice to Old Gehrman and a practitioner of the art of quickening, a technique particular to the first hunters. It is most appropriate that hunters, carriers of the torch who are sustained by the dream, would tease an old art from his remains. So yeah, this goes back to the very beginning of the founding of the Hunters. And this ability is one used by the first Hunters. That's pretty interesting fact about, and once we get into the DLC, obviously the old Hunters DLC, you'll be learning a lot more about the old Hunters from the DLC, but, oh man, I'm working on it. I'm trying to find the time. I've been trying to find the time to freaking do my own stuff. You know what? I'm not gonna get into this too much. I'll talk to you guys about this later, to Predator and MLA. But I'll just say this right now. As I mentioned before at the beginning of the stream, Dark Souls Remastered. I really want to do the live stream on Twitch. There is one issue with doing it on Twitch. And it's not an issue that anybody's going to kind of probably guess at. It has nothing to do with, you know, monetization or anything related to streaming restrictions, anything like that. It's not at all related to that. It actually, to be more specific, has to do with our YouTube account in relation to what we would be putting on Twitch. So, I'll have to talk to you guys about that later. But to everybody else out there, I'll just say this. If you guys are enjoying the Bloodborne stream or any of the stuff that me or Jay or Predator or MLA has been putting up, please give us some likes. Stay tuned to the channel. And if you guys know anybody else interested in checking out any of these games, or as I've said from the beginning, playing at all on live stream with us, please let us know. Have them come check the channel out, see if they're interested in getting involved, and if they can subscribe, that would be great. Ultimately, I'm just kind of, my ultimate goal is, and just, you know, plain and simple, not for anything other than just policies related to YouTube and Twitch. I'm trying to sort of expand the audience and the eyeballs that are watching. It has, like I said, has nothing to do with how much we'll be making off of streams, nothing like that. And nothing to do, if we got a ton of people out to the Twitch stream and I didn't get one tip, I wouldn't even care. Make any money, I wouldn't even care. That's not what I'm getting at. But there are certain aspects of crossing from Twitch to YouTube that I didn't even know about until I was digging around through YouTube and digging around through Twitch. And I've been working on channel artwork. I've been working on new banners, new borders for live streams that would be on Twitch, that would have more graphics and visible visible layout stacked on it. But essentially, what I wanted to get out more than anything, just to everybody else, is like I said, if you enjoy the channel, let some other people know about it. Other people who are interested in anything, fighting games, from software games, old school retro games, whatever it might be. Anybody likes Fightcade, PC, PS4, whatever they might be into. If they would be interested, you think they might be interested, your mother, your brother, your father, your uncle, your grandmother, whoever the hell it might be, your buddies, whatever, have them check out the channel. Because at this point, with this transition, that would really, really, really help our channel a lot. And I want to speak for MLA or Jay on this. This is purely my deal, because I've really been the only one vocal about switching live streams to Twitch. And I promise you guys, I'm not going to be streaming Bloodborne to Twitch. That's not going to happen. I'm going to finish this live stream up on YouTube. That's not up for debate at all. But as I said before, if there's a good game to test the waters with, it would be Dark Souls Remastered. For a number of reasons. I'm familiar with the game. It's going to be released very soon. It's probably going to have quite a bit of attention on it early on. From Software games, always get a lot of attention. Love watching people fail. Love watching people rage. I know I don't fail and rage like, you know, I'm not a Dark Side Phil fail and rager, I do get a little depressed and disappointed and sometimes vocal about that. Sometimes, I will admit, yes, indeed. And sometimes look like an idiot. I will admit that part too. But the point is that regardless of anything that happens, at the end of the day, I'm always very appreciative of not only anyone who comes out to check out the streams, of the people that participate, but just of the fact that I can be here and show you guys this stuff. So the reason I really want to move to Twitch is just essentially because of broadening the audience. And I honestly, I don't even think a lot of people even here know about our Twitter account. It is in our on our YouTube page. It's in the banner on up top. You can click the Twitter link, but not many people follow us yet. To be honest, I've been the only one that's really used it, and I've put very little up there until recently. But it's finally starting to. Oh, that's right. I was going to go to the Grand Cathedral to talk to that guy. So yeah, but Predator, as far as your now the intro, it's gonna take a. I actually probably will ask you for if because the Dark Souls Remastered comes out in roughly about a week, and I would really like to do it day one. The one thing that the other thing that I'm hung up on, besides this other thing involving, oh, I picked the wrong damn lantern. Screw it, I'm gonna have to do this the hard way. Sorry about that, guys. Man, multitasking, as I've said before, it's not my best area, but Twitch live stream moderator. I really appreciate that. Oh yeah, it comes out in about a week. I really, the other issue, aside from the things I was just talking about regarding converting from YouTube to Twitch, the other problem is that, like I said, I really don't know how the rest of this week is going, and I am gonna be trying. I'm really seriously going to be trying, you guys, to finish the Bloodborne playthrough before I play Dark Souls Remastered. I really want to. I don't want to leave this playthrough hanging before well, like I said, you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, but like I said, first of all, I'm not going to pass up another excuse to play Dark Souls again. That's part one. But part two, honestly, it's just a great way for me to, I mean, I just literally got the ability to stream and do it at a not even decent, a passable quality. I mean, and I'm talking somewhere above 360p that wasn't stuttery and laggy as hell. This just became available to me like about 3 weeks, maybe a month ago. So nothing that I've ever wanted to stream has been possible, and with the release of Remastered, it's a good excuse to finally actually give Dark Souls a full playthrough. But yeah, I hear you. I'm kind of indifferent to the situation, as I said, but because I can understand where people not quite as excited are coming from. I can understand where people kind of excited are coming from. 60 FPS, yeah. Although, once again, like I said, if you had that on PC, which I did, and you use DS Fix, those things weren't really an issue.
They should have moved her on ages ago.
Talking over this dude's freaking dialogue, although he's just ripping on the people sitting here in this in the chapel. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, yeah, 60 FPS. Yeah, I mean, that's also, you know, it's a big deal to anyone on console. To anyone who played it on PC, like I said, it's not quite as big of a deal. But once again, for me, it's more about the idea of going back to one of my favorite games, playing it all the way through on a live stream, and kind of more than anything, I've been watching characters, or not characters.
Overjoyed, really? That you'd even give me the time of day.
This is when you start to see this guy's.
Out there worth saving anymore, but you did all you could. And so many owe you so much. Amazing, really. Not because you're a hunter, but because you're you. Makes me think. Once dawn breaks, maybe I can just, start over. Makes it easier to bear all of this, you see. You've made life easier. Thank you. If you please, kind hunter, when the night of the hunt passes, suppose we could be friends? Maybe? Now, I know I hardly deserve it, but, well, I had to just ask, Out of line, yes, perhaps so, but, well, give it a thought. If you wouldn't mind, of course.
Now this is like, this is one of those things for me that's like, the side plot threads that are, that you wrap up as you go along. That guy, when you first meet him, you have no idea what his intentions are. He looks very sketchy. He sounds very sketchy. But as you get to know him and you meet him and you bring people to the chapel and you get this picture of in your head finally that he has lived his entire life with absolutely no self-confidence, no friends, and in complete solitude and isolation from pretty much everybody because of the fact that he looks the way he does and he doesn't obviously have much in the way of social skill. It's nuts that this guy is just like the most kind-hearted, selfless guy that you probably will meet along the way. It's crazy as hell, and it always gets me every time. It's just like the girl at the beginning. It's one of those moments in the game that the few moments that aren't quite as graphic or intense and a little bit more heartwarming and touching. And it's hard to say that in a game like Bloodborne, but it's just the characters, even minor ones like that, are so well written that I love it. So anyway, okay, so we missed these items up on the top of this hill. So, but anyway, sorry, as I was saying before, whether it turns out to be a glitchy mess and not nearly as exciting as everyone hoped it would be, then that's the way it turns out. But to be honest, at this point, I really don't care. I just really want to give it a shot and check it out because, like I said, I love Dark Souls so much that playing it again on another console would be really interesting to me. And once again, to be fair to the other aspect of this, now I know I haven't done it in Bloodborne because I suck at it, but PvP in Dark Souls, I'm actually not half bad. Now the problem was when I first played Dark Souls 1, first played Dark Souls 1 and actually went all the way through it. I was jumping in at a time where the only people that were left playing that were invading were, people who had been playing since release and were ridiculous at PvP and knew how to exploit every type of tactic they could possibly exploit to get backstabs, to get parries, to get the best equipment. They had everything stocked, and here's me coming in after having played nothing but PvE in a game like Dark Souls 1 is a very bad idea. Wow, one shot from the lit up tonitrus. I'm assuming that they're weak to electricity, but that's just my assumption. So anyway, whether it sucks, whether it's I doubt it's going to be anything great because it's not going to bring anything new. I mean, just speaking honestly, it's not going to bring anything new to the franchise. The only thing it's going to do is hopefully bring new people to the franchise. I thought there was something in here. I'm just waiting for something to fall on my head or some shit. I guess not. Forget the areas where there's traps and where there aren't. Except for the ones that are, you know, memorable. But anyway, I also don't know if judging it from the because to be fair, I can also see that judging it off of the value of the the network test would be kind of a joke to anybody at this point. If that's the final version, I can see why a lot of people are expecting disappointment. I can definitely see that. But as someone who appreciates the story elements of the Souls games and Bloodborne, just as much as the gameplay and the competitive elements and everything else, to be able to play it for a new group of people and maybe meet some new people with new theories on the lore and storyline, that would be worthwhile to me because I'm a big fan of channels like VatiVidya, Epic Name Bro, what's that? Something Mantis. I can't remember his name now. Something Mantis. There's been quite a few others. The most active channels are still to this day. VatiVidya still puts out a lot of stuff. I know he's not exactly the most popular guy in the community to a lot of Bloodborne and Dark Souls content creators, but regardless of how he's thought of, I wouldn't take away at all from his analysis, his dedication, his devotion, his work ethic, and just how much that guy has actually devoted to his channel and to the Dark Souls community, whether it was good or bad. He really has brought a lot of attention to it, and got, whether it was, you know, it wasn't directly with him, but on his channel or on another channel discussing points that he had brought up, has sparked up quite a few conversations about the lore and theories about Dark Souls that have been very, well, at least to me, have been very, very entertaining just to hear from other people what their thoughts are. So this is what the quickening bone does, by the way. I love it. So anyway, once again, I'm rambling on and on and on about Dark Souls Remastered. I told myself I wasn't going to do that, but of course I did. I'm not talking about Bloodborne. Although, once again, we just barely entered this village and there hasn't been much major plot development yet, so I guess we're going to give it a pass for now. Let's kill you first. Now, this is regardless of the fall damage you take there, this is actually a much better approach, especially in your first time here, because this is what awaits you if you go the other way. Everyone there is facing you, and they are not happy. So let's hit these sons of bitches with a Molotov. And that'll work. And now you son of a bitch. Yeah, it's been backstab, but that's alright. Now we got another shield bastard over here. Oh, whoops, wrong button. Meant to fucking transform. Oh, and by the way, quickening bone's already worn off. Oh wow, that didn't attract his attention. Oh, but look at that, I got bullets. Sweet. Old hunter bone. Let's forget the name of that damn item because I always remember the quickening aspect, and I always want to call it the quickening bone. But yeah. Bloodstone shard. Now I'll be able to level up the tonics for some other level. Wow, that's a lot of bullets. Oil urn. So yeah, let's just go ahead and keep collecting. Oh, whoops. The items scattered around here. Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't show you guys this. Let me go back and show you guys something that I was talking about before. See this, when you come at it from the other way, it's kind of harder to see. This just looks like wood, but yeah. So, not a nice place to stand. Well, no. I don't mean with his subscribers, man. His subscribers are devoted, and it's an awesome community. I mean with, which is to be expected. I mean, to be honest, with other Dark Souls content creators. I have heard from other content creators, and you know, whether or not this is true or not, I can't speak on this. I don't know the guy, obviously, but I've heard from other content creators, he kind of is a little cocky, gives a cold shoulder to smaller channels and such like that. Now, that's YouTube bullshit drama that I have no interest in being a part in, but that's what I meant by not popular. Not with content I mean, not with the people that follow him by any means. Because like I said, I've gotten along very well with both, I mean, not with him, because I think the only thing I've gotten from him is a like on one of my comments and a thumbs up. But no, you know, his fans are very. He's got a huge channel. His theories and his discussions are amazingly good, and it's been a great community since Dark Souls 1. In fact, to be honest, he's got some of the best Demon Souls videos out there as well. And from the perspective of the work aspect of what's involved, the videos talking about, I think probably my favorites that he's done are the ones that are the Lost in Translation videos. Those have been excellent. The discussion of the original canon Japanese writing, and the differences between Dark Souls 1, 2, Bloodborne, and things like that. I was just like, man, and not to mention, you know, he's been brought to a number of, you know, exclusive events showing off early builds, gameplay footage, etc., etc. But I was speaking purely from the aspect of other creators in the community, obviously not fans. That was a terrible shot. That was a way too. Fuck this. I'm just gonna. There we go. That'll work. So yeah, I didn't mean not popular in terms of subscriber count. Not at all. And to be honest, I think he was the I finally remember that guy's name, Terramantis. He does some really good stuff. But he's been the first and the longest Dark Souls related content creator that I've followed and subscribed to, that I didn't unsubscribe to for one reason or another, whether it was some absolutely ridiculous theory that was defended to the bitter end without one lick of proof. It sounded more like, you know, a theory based on wishful thinking than actual evidence, or whether it was just a general sort of demeanor of people in the community that are, I mean, there's the Dark Souls and Bloodborne communities are as diversive as any other community, but it's kind of like I always use these two examples together. I don't mean to do that, but Metal Gear Solid, it's almost exactly the same as the Metal Gear Solid fan base. You'll meet some Metal Gear fans that are incredibly interesting to talk to, have great theories, have a wealth of knowledge and information. They might be content creators, make some great freaking videos. But there's also the assholes who, treat the game itself as if it's gospel and their religion, and insulting that is insulting them, and yada yada yada. So I guess I kind of liken those two communities together, just because of, number one, the complexity of the artwork, the respect I have for the directors. Hideo Kojima and Hidetaka Miyazaki are probably, and even though Kojima's not working for Konami anymore, his new project looks pretty fucking interesting. But the point is that I think probably in this day and age, they are both the biggest visionaries that we have left in the gaming industry, as far as directors, because they still tell stories. And no matter how engaging the game might be on other levels, what other types of modes it might have, what types of features it might have that involve multiplayer or competitive aspects or whatever it might be, they still have the framing work there, and enough substance and enough content and enough, whether it's like Miyazaki does it very subtly, and it's almost like experimental film, where to pick up everything you need to play through the games multiple times. But then again, so is Kojima's work. But yeah, they are two of the best at their craft that are left in the industry today.
The hours of the night are many, and the beast more than I can count. A veritable hunt unending. Not even death offers solace, and the blood imbibes you. A most frightful fate. Oh my. But I'm willing to do you a kindness. Step lightly round to the right of the great cathedral and seek an ancient, shrouded church. The gift of the Godhead will grant you strength. Yes, I'm unquestionably certain.
This is an item we'll need for later to access a very specific area that is, well, it's probably one of the coolest looking areas in the game, although some of the other aspects of it leave a little bit to be desired, but it's still got a lot of lore implications. It's a really fun area to play through. And we're not going there for a while, but yeah, Metal Gear Solid, man. 1, 2, 3, and 4, like I've said before, that's like they're masterpieces. I can't put it any other way. They're masterpieces. But once again, in my opinion, Dark Souls is. In my opinion, Dark Souls 2 is like. I heard another YouTuber describe the Dragon Quest series, or the original 3 Dragon Quest games on NES this way. Likened it to the Indiana Jones trilogy. The first game was, even though, the director had done Demon Souls before that, and it was sort of a spiritual successor to that, it was taking this very new, not popularized, not stylized formula, and making something very, very unique and special with it. Even though it was rough around the edges, especially by comparison to the budget for the next 2 films, there was some experimental aspects to it that didn't quite work as far as mainstream appeal. In terms of a movie, it's you know, almost anyone that enjoys action adventure movies will enjoy Indiana Jones. And at the time, it was a huge success. Now, Temple of Doom, it was with a bigger budget, after already establishing a name and a following and characters. Oh shit, there's another one up here. I forgot about that. There was, I forgot the white church was up here. So yeah, it's, even though technically from the standpoint of those elements, it was a superior film. It was definitely seen as a lesser film. It has its fans, but is generally just seen as the weak link between two. Man, I'm freaking getting mauled by these things. Fucking dogs. Regen. There we go. Give me that. Okay. So the weaker pillar between two large, heavy, sturdy columns on each end. So, but then the third film, well, then that's a whole nother story by the time you get to number 3. So, as I was saying with the Dark Souls trilogy, it kind of mirrors that. It kind of mirrors the Dragon Quest original trilogy on NES, in the way that it was presented and the elements to it that survived, the things that changed, the things that stayed the same, the lessons they learned from the first game and the second game, and ultimately accumulating in the third game, and just overall, in my opinion, really evolving into a game that actually, for the most part, once again, maybe the second one, a little shaky, but still for the most part, staying faithful and not kowtowing to every possible cliche in the book of how to make a AAA game successful in the modern gaming era. And while all this at the same time, while telling an excellent story, and having extremely good art direction, extremely good development team in general. I know it's, joked about that it was the B team that developed Dark Souls 2, which yeah, it was. But once again, it might be the weakest of the 3 pillars, but it's still got a place, and I still find it worthwhile entry into the series, despite the fact that I would agree it's the weakest of the series, definitely. So anyway, that's the that's my 2 cents on the Dark Souls trilogy. And to be honest, it hasn't been ruled out yet, as far as by Miyazaki at least, that there will be a. Do I actually really want to do this now, or should I do this later? You know what? I'm not really going to gain anything by this now. I'll come back and do this part later. I'm sorry, Predator. I didn't mean to be ignoring you. I went on that long tangent because I got a dedicated Dark Souls fans in here today, which is, From Software fans, obviously. People who follow VaatiVidya and people interested in Dark Souls Remastered. It's the first time I've really gone into great detail about my opinions on those sorts of things. I mean, I've talked about them on the surface, but not really gone in detail about them. But anyway, what day does that come out? That comes out on the 30th, right? Because I think that's 1 week after Dark Souls Remastered comes out. Or it's almost a week after Dark Souls Remastered comes out. I can't remember. All the shit coming out, man. And once again, you know, Blaze Blue. Oh shit! I forgot he was there. Oh shit! Woo! You're not getting one on me, boy. You can't even transform in front of me, sucker. Anyway. But yeah, I was hoping to go. I hope I can make it. I'm obviously going to be down to play when it comes out. I'll try to, even if I can't commit to the full live stream, I will try to make it out for at least part of it, because at the very least, well, you guys have played Third Strike. But no, I know you're going to really want to play Alpha 3 a lot. And I honestly, I'm more looking forward to Super Turbo and Third Strike more than anything else. Just the online modes of both of them. Oh, geez, I unlocked, man. That was a terrible idea. I should have used my threaded cane right there. I'm kind of just rushing through here on instinct, to be honest, because I'm just discussing all this, flipping back and forth from topic to topic. But yeah, I hope I clarified that. Lamellar. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Lamellar M. I was not making mention of how his channel was not popular, not by a long shot. And as I said, I really love his channel too. So, but again, I don't know the guy, and I hate to comment on a YouTube personality. I hate the idea of commenting on YouTube personalities in general, let alone having myself do it. But it's a reality of YouTube now, so it's just something that you have to take part in, whether you want to or not. But just speaking purely from the standpoint of, I guess I'll just go in from do this the hard way. Anyway, yeah, you can still get those through the wall there. Now, see, if I really wanted to be an asshole and talk shit, I would say, if you want some really insightful Dark Souls commentary, listen to Darkside Phil. He'll teach you about the lore for all of the Souls games and Bloodborne, man. He knows what he's talking about. The way he comes to his conclusions, I mean, it's incredible. I don't know how he does it. Of course, I'm being incredibly sarcastic with that statement, because that guy sounds like a toddler trying to make sense out of fucking Paradise Lost or something. Oops. Come on, dude. Let's do this. Oh, get it. Get in there. Yeah, there we go. That's what I always thought was so funny, too. When Darkside Phil tries to do lore analysis on a game like Dark Souls or Metal Gear Solid, or really anything beyond a very bland, basic action game or multiplayer game. He tries to make sense out of any storyline. It's just, it seriously sounds like he's talking about a different game or a movie or something. Like, dude, are you paying any attention to anything that's been happening? Do you know who these characters are? Do you know what they do? Do you know their names? Anyway, Matt, I could go off on a whole... Everybody knows I could go off on a whole nother tear about Darkside Phil, but I won't do that today. I'm gonna stay away from that, try and avoid getting angry today. Oh, shit! Didn't know he was there. And we got another one! And we got another one! Oh, shit! He's still alive! Oh, look at that dude miss! You ain't hitting me, motherfucker. I got really sloppy with that entry. I don't think I've entered from this direction in a long time. Come on, get to my quickening bone. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Okay, there we go. Feel much better now. Ooh, wow. 4 pungent blood cocktails. Anybody else behind him? No, those guys are still at the fire. So we'll take them out as soon as we get to... One more big word of warning, which I fell into that trap there really badly. Sorry about that, guys. That was terrible. He turned around. I don't know if I would have reached anyway, but... Okay. Yeah, now that, the big set of wood in the middle there, it's not a swinging spike trap. It's not a instant death trap. It is a drop you into a pit of nightmares trap. Oh, this is where I just killed the gunner. Okay, never mind. And one thing you can always kind of take note of is there an item that just seems very conveniently placed to be right out in the middle of a big wide open area, surrounded by blind spots? Or is there a group of any amount of enemies with their backs turned that are standing off in a corner that you could very easily backstab? Yeah, when you see things like that, it's like, always be cautious. Always be very cautious on approach, because in all likelihood, it's not going to be as easy as it looks to actually accomplish the task you're trying to accomplish. Oh, dude, that kick hit. Regen that quick, so that's alright. But yeah, there's a pit down there. We are gonna go down there, but not from that entrance. We're gonna take a different one. That's the way out, but we're not quite done here. There's a few more items to collect. I hear that dude with an axe somewhere around here. I think he's in this house here, or behind it, or in that house there. It's gotta be this house. No? Oh, where is the dirty bastard? Man, you know what? I think this is the first spot that I've come across in game where I honestly do not remember. Oh, that's right. You can't get in there from that entry point. Oh, there he comes. This has been the first area so far since I started this playthrough that I really honestly don't remember this area very well. I think it's because I always approach this part of the game from taking a different route. I either go through those caves that I was about to go through at the beginning, or I cross the bridge and then come back to this village later, or I do something different. Oh, you know what? That's on the other side of the, I know where that is. And I can't get there yet, but that's okay. I think that's all I think I collected everything. Oh, wait. No, I didn't. There is something else over here. Or no, there isn't. This is what I mean. Honestly, this is the first spot in the game that... Oh, that's right. This is the end of the pathway where that bridge falls over. There's like these red tombstones, and then you come to that bridge and it collapses if you get there. So it's sort of a trap. Not really one that's that bad, because if you approach this village from the front, which I don't think I showed you guys this either. Let me go real quick back to the beginning. But This village also has a trap, not just the middle, but near the front, right here. There's another swinging rope trap up there. You see the chains for it. So yeah, be careful on entry if you're coming in from the front. I came in from the backside over there. I always like to talk to that guy to get that item and get it now, so I don't have to come back. It's right there. It's obvious. And you just got to talk to the guy in the house. It's not that big a deal. But okay, well, I think that's all we can do. I don't think there's any other items in here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back up top. Wow, next Friday. So a week from today. Jeez, okay. Today's the 18th. Wow, it comes out that early? So it comes out the 25th. So wait, it comes out the same day as Dark Souls Remastered then. I remember them being close. I couldn't remember if it was the first day or a week apart or what exactly it was. But anyway, oh, here's another item that is a I think we have the arcane for it too. Let me put these here. I'm gonna need these. Beast Roar. Where is it? There it is. One of the forbidden hunter tools made by irreverent Izzy borrowed the strength of the terrible undead dark beasts, if only for a moment, to blast surrounding foes back with the force of a roaring beast. The indescribable sound is broadcast with the caster's own vocal cords, which begs the question, what terrible things lurk deep within the frames of men? Once again alluding to the idea that the beasts are just people who've transformed into... That every beast that you see, even the most crazy, giant, grotesque beasts are the product of transformation of a human being. And even without fully transforming, you can tap into that power. It's an interesting concept because you know, once again, this whole game is about the sort of the walking the line between. It's like Father Gascoigne. He's a great example of that. Someone who still has remnants of his old self in there somewhere, but you'd never know it by just running across him. He's in a graveyard with the mutilated corpse of his wife, and transforms into a full-fledged raging beast once you deal enough damage to him, but play the music box and he becomes so overwhelmed with emotion that he can't attack anymore. This part sucks. Nah, it's not that bad. I remember it being a lot worse than that to get past that part, but apparently not. Okay. So yeah, you see that down there. The reason I didn't want to go that way is that is oil. And obviously that oil lights up under flame. So let's tune these sons of bitches up a little bit. As I said before, I really don't know exactly how far I'm going to get today, but to be honest, I'm actually getting pretty close to opening the shortcut, so I might as well just go the extra distance and just go do that, because to be honest, I can use the beast roar. You know what? Hang on just a second. Let me just check that real quick. How much do you need? Oh, this one's 15 too. They're both 15. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Let's use this. Now all the flame guys that were up above are gone, so... Oh man, that hurt. See how you like the... Oh, you don't like thunder at all, do you, you son of a bitch? Okay. Now here we go. This is... Alright, we got another dirty monster motherfucker. Ah, you bastard. You weren't supposed to turn around. There we go. Come on, get in there. Alright. Twin bloodstone shards. Sweet. Once again, slow but steady. I figured this, like I said, this area is fairly long. I knew I wasn't making it to the boss in this episode, but the good news is, it looks like I'll be able to make it to the shortcut fairly easily, which means that, okay, here we go. I opened the alternate route back into the village, so now I can bypass this whole lake spot the next time I come through, which is very nice because that area sucks. But still a couple things left to do here, and then we'll be able to open the shortcut. But oh shit! I'm used to longer weapons, as you can tell. You can probably tell this whole playthrough. Thanks, man. Thank you. I promise you, next time there will be possibly even 2 boss fights, because the next 2 boss fights are very close together. It's kind of like the boss fight is in one area. You go to a very short area that's basically a small or a building, a small area around it, and then into a boss fight. The problem, though, is the first one I've never had a problem with. The first boss that's coming up next. The one after that, it's been very hit and miss for me. Sometimes I've decimated it. Sometimes it's taken me several playthroughs or several attempts. But now, yeah, there is a cannon over at the end of the range there. So we are going to be, you know what, I'm actually doing great stuff. Let's make some blood bullets, use a item, and get moving. You duck into the houses as you go along. Although be wary, there's obviously not just a pathway that's completely free of any danger. In fact, to be honest, I don't remember where the first enemies are that you run into. There's one of them. This should be interesting. There's another one. Man, I'm getting good at this. Getting my parry skills back. There we go. Sweet. Like I said before, as when you start using the magical items, or the items that are reusable and basically have special skills attached to them, be the equivalent of magic in this game, you start to run through blood bullets a lot faster. Okay, we're almost there, guys. I'm gonna fucking... And in fact, there's the cannon. So once we take care of this son of a bitch... And you actually can shoot the cannon if you want, but it will only really work if you were coming from this angle. Otherwise, it wouldn't really do much good. Come on, bitch, let's go. Come on. Okay. There we go. Beast blood pellets. Anything else around? Is that it? I think that's it. We can come back here later. You can approach it from this side, and obviously it's much easier doing it that way. Let's see. Now, if I remember correctly, yeah, there's something over here. I was trying to see if I could show you guys where I'm at, relatively speaking to, I think that's it. That should be where we came in. That should be the bridge that we crossed. Thank you, MLA. Thank you very much. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, we're at the windmill. Okay. This is the, oh, and that dude's no fucking, that dude's no laughing matter right there. You know what? We're almost out of time. I have a shit ton of echoes. I do not want to lose them, especially without activating the checkpoint. So, or the shortcut. So, what I'm going to do is, I am not going to bother with any more fighting. I'm going to come back to this area the next time I start the game and play cleanup, basically. Get all the items that I passed up. Kill some of the enemies, and there is one other NPC here that we can get some dialogue with. An NPC that shows you, well, that teaches you a different sort of lesson than to the one you've been kind of trying to use throughout most of this game's playthrough. Now, this is, this enemy sucks. I'm not gonna fight this motherfucker yet, but, well, maybe I will. You know what? I will. Yeah, oh shit! He's gonna poison me. He's gonna kill me. Adela blood. There we go. Goodbye. Man. I was gonna kick myself in the ass if I fucking got killed by that son of a bitch. Yeah, the snakehead guys, they have a, well, not a lot, but at this point in the game, they have relatively high health compared to every other guy that you fought. They do poison damage. They hit like a fucking truck. And there aren't that many of them, but they are almost always in an area where you just cannot avoid them. So, you have no choice but to either try and YOLO your way around them or freaking stay and fight as long as you think you can handle it. But the first time I don't exactly recommend taking my method, but I forgot he's here. This is a character that was added during the DLC, but once again, I'm not going to talk to him yet. I'm going to wait till the next episode because we are at an hour 58-minute mark, and this has actually been just about as productive as I hoped it would be because the next episode we can finish up the rest of the forests, which there is a whole nother section of the forest, but it's easier to kind of, I don't know how to describe it, not really easy to avoid. Easy to avoid all the enemies or anything, but if you know the way, it's not as difficult. I think maybe the biggest difference is that you can do an easier job of fighting each enemy on its own instead of getting mobbed like you're used to. So, well, anyway, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the newcomers that came out and checked out the stream. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the regulars, MLA and Predator Gaming, the fellow men-at-arms of Transatlantic Gaming. I really appreciate you guys coming out and checking out the stream. As I said at the beginning, I really have no idea when the next stream will be. I'll definitely let you guys know. And I didn't post this time on Twitter, but that was, as I mentioned before, if you guys can spread the word. Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you. If you guys, anybody out there who's watching can spread the word and kind of make mention of the Bloodborne live stream going on, of the upcoming Street Fighter 30th anniversary stream, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle release day stream, and the videos already out, and one more coming out, or Dark Souls Remastered. Let everybody know it might be interested. Thank you very much for checking out this episode. Next episode, we'll be finishing up the forest and taking on at least one of the two next bosses, most definitely, probably both. But like I said, I don't know. It won't. I don't even want to say that. It might be tomorrow. I have no idea. I can't. I really don't even want to put a finger on it. So just wait to be surprised with the next stream, and hopefully it will be sooner rather than later. That's pretty much the best I could say. So this has been Cory Dean, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you guys during the next stream. Have a good one, and peace out.